Vic, thank you. Well, to protect President Trump's Palm Beach resort, Mar-a-Lago, the FAA has a permanent flight restriction over the property. No unauthorized aircraft are allowed to fly inside a 30-mile restricted area around the president's estate. That said, small planes have breached that airspace nearly 24 times since his second term in office. And what happens next is a chain of events no pilot ever wants to encounter. Our Jim Grimes got an inside look.
This is what can happen when a recreational pilot accidentally enters into restricted airspace. Being intercepted by military aircraft is not what any pilot wants, according to Lieutenant Colonel Alex Papp with the 125th Air Wing.
The whole point when we wind up having to intercept somebody is for us to be known and let that Cessna, that whatever airplane it is, know that an armed air defense fighter is pulled up alongside it.
While Papp and his colleagues make these maneuvers look easy, it takes lots of practice.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
CBS 12 News is at Homestead Air Reserve Base getting a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into that training. We'll be riding in this small plane piloted by members of the Civil Air Patrol. At the same time, Air National Guard pilots working under NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense Command, are climbing into their F-15s. Within minutes, we're taxiing down the runway and quickly in the air.
We're about 6,500 feet over the Florida Keys. Our role today is playing that of lost crew. We somehow wandered into restricted airspace in our small Cessna. And what's going to happen next is something this crew won't soon forget.
Remember, they fly fast jets, and they need to practice with slow-moving targets. We play that role of a slow-moving target.
As we cruise at 80 miles an hour, those F-15s are fast and quickly closing in. In just a matter of minutes, our crew gets its first warning.
Traffic, 7 o'clock, low, less than 1 mile.
And like a bolt out of the blue,
Oh, wow, that's enough to get your attention right there.
the fighter jet gets close as safely possible to get our attention.
Because usually once people notice that there's a fighter pulled up on their wing, they get on the radio pretty fast and they become compliant pretty quick.
To sharpen their skills, the fighter pilots will do this over and over. While there are some 100 miles between Mar-a-Lago and Homestead, these fighter jets can cover that space in a matter of minutes. And in a real-world scenario, the fighter pilots are also in constant contact with NORAD command. If there is a real threat, each fighter is armed to the teeth. Something Lieutenant Colonel Papp says is always in the cards.
If it comes to it, we are all prepared to do what our orders say.
So far, nearly all the interceptions over Mar-a-Lago have been pilots simply failing to check for active TFRs, but the FAA treats them seriously, especially when they involve restricted airspace near the president's residence.